Chevrolet. I'll ask Jamie just to talk about your qualifying lap, and coming off of a rain delay and so forth, coming out there to qualify. And how was the racetrack? How did your car handle?
Well, the rain was probably a blessing for us having to go out first. When I saw that we were going to go out first before practice started today, this is one of those places that seems like the later in the session, the better it was going to get. But with the rain and having some overcast when I ran my lap, that was probably a little bit of an advantage. I was really impressed that Kurt was able to beat us when we ran as fast as we did. I really didn't, when the sun came out, I didn't think anybody would be able to match the lap that we did. But Kurt did a really good job to run quicker than we did with the sun out.
Jimmy, I'll ask you to comment on the change in track conditions and how you thought your car handled.
Yeah, just to kind of echo Jamie, I felt like with a mid qualifying effort that I was on the better side of things because the track usually picks up some speed later. And then when it rained and I walked out on pit road, I saw the clouds breaking. I thought, ooh, this is going the other way for me. And I saw Kurt's time, or knew that Kurt went to top of the board. So it gave me the confidence to do all that I could on my lap, and had a really, really good lap. A little tight down in 3 and 4, but very proud of the effort. We were fast, through the practice session this morning, and coming in off a good top 5 from last week. So everything's going smoothly and well.
Questions for either Jamie or Jimmy? If you have one, raise your hand. Any questions? We've got a wireless mic here. Any questions? Everybody good?
Maybe we should. Oh, you just ruined my thought. I was going to say we should poll everyone to see if second and third should actually come into the media center from here on out.
Yeah, well. Go ahead. Okay. Let's go with Mike Mulhern. Well, let's go with this gentleman here first. You beat you to the mic. Go ahead.
Oh, wow, they're stacking up.
Go ahead, Jamie,
sir. Jamie Vito, Puglisi, FrontStretch.com. It seems this year that the #1 team has really figured out the Super Speedway program with the new spoiler, and reflecting again today with your outside front row run. What do you attribute this to, and how do you think this will translate on Sunday?
When you say Super Speedway, do you mean
mile and a half?
Oh. Well, we just we had pretty fast cars at the beginning of the year. It's just, I think it's more ironic that that we're running better since they put the spoiler back on the car. They put a big effort into qualifying at EGR. We didn't. I don't think we ever put that effort in at Roush with all the stuff that they changed. I mean, it's amazing how light they're able to make the cars for qualifying, and it doesn't take a lot to make a difference in the way the car drives. And really, when we unloaded here, though, I ran my first few laps, and I couldn't believe how well my car drove, how much grip it had, and really how good the balance was. So we just we've had really fast cars at these faster tracks, and they just have done an exceptional job at unloading with really close setups. We unloaded with something here that we haven't really run this year, so I was a little bit worried about that. I don't know. It's hard to get away from the kind of the norm that you've been running, and we unloaded with something completely different here, and the car handled great. So I'm excited for Sunday.
Go ahead, Mike, and then we'll go to Nate and then Vega. Go ahead.
Mike Muller, MikeMuller.net. 189 miles an hour, almost 190. Is that too fast here? I mean, what do you think about the speeds, and how far will they fall off during the race? Both of you guys.
I mean, it's a fast time, and in the center of the turn, you feel like you're going pretty quick. The straightaways, man, you're like, can we fast forward this and hurry up and get there? I mean, it just seems like it takes a long time. But in race pace, we will drop off quick. I think this morning when the track was cool, I ran. There's probably 6 or 7 tenths between my first lap to my second lap in drop off, so it'll drop off quick. And I don't think that the speeds really alarm us because there's so much room here around the track.
Go ahead, Nate, and then Mike. Go ahead.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Jimmy, if I can take you back just a mere 7 hours. I forgot to. I didn't have a chance to ask you a follow-up to your running out of fuel and the Tahoe question. Is that something was that a first for you, or is that something you do often? Or are you absent-minded and run out of gas in your passenger car?
In my passenger car, no, that was a first. Yeah, I ran out of gas, man. What's funny is it was in between the two Michigan races I ran out of fuel at last year, and of course my wife was with me, and still, yeah, right.
Yeah, that's bad.
Let's go Mike Vega, and then Reed Spencer.
Jamie,
I hit the button when I was coming home. Oh, it was your personal car. Personal car. Oh, yeah. My Tahoe. I hit the button. It was dinging at me. I hit the button when I came home, and then the next day we were in a hurry to leave. And I was just driving along, and the damn thing shut off.
you got to tell him
What?
about the lady. You got to tell him about the lady, though.
Oh, and then an older lady was behind me, and I stopped traffic, and I get out of the car in Charlotte, and she's honking. I'm like, man, I'm out of gas. What am I supposed to do? And she pulls out and goes by and shoots me the bird. I'm like, Charlotte, they love people. They love each other in Charlotte. What the heck? It's like you're in New York or something.
That was the payoff of that story right
Yeah.
there.
That's good.
But,
Go ahead, Mike.
Just wanted to ask you, Jamie. Obviously, after Charlotte, the Penske-Ganassi rivalry seems to be percolating here. I mean, we know what it is in IndyCar, but seems to be percolating here in this side of NASCAR. 1-2 on the top of the speed chart here. Is it something that's carrying over in your mind?
Well, we joked around a little bit on top of the hauler that Kurt certainly, if we could get rid of him, we would have won Charlotte and would be on the pole here. So they're just running really well right now, and I think that's great that we get to have that same competitiveness between the Penske and Ganassi teams that they've had in IndyCar racing for years. And it's exciting, I think, for the NASCAR team to be able to perform as well as we have, and the same thing for the Penske team. So it's great that we're not just talking about Hendricks and Joe Gibbs Racing and Richard Childress, that our names are included in that. So it's exciting to get to be a part of this team right now.
Maybe as a follow-up, Jimmy, your reaction to, I mean, there are more teams are kind of joining the fight now.
Yeah, I mean, from a competitive standpoint, I selfishly just want everybody to talk about Hendrick, but I think as a fan of the sport and knowing how interesting it is to watch an IndyCar race and to see the Penske-Ganassi rivalry that's there, I think it's great. I think it's great for our sport, and I think it can help the more casual IndyCar fan that might not be a NASCAR fan come on board and be a little bit more involved.
Let's go with Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports for Jamie. Can you talk a little bit about your former teammates? Obviously, having driven that car, driving a Ford here last year, and now you're driving the Ganassi equipment. The difference, maybe you can help us understand what's going on between what they're lacking and what you have now, because, a lot of people say if it wasn't Greg, Matt, and Carl, they wouldn't be nearly where they are now.
Well, I mean, I don't. I don't know the differences. It does not take a lot to go from good to bad, at this level. Even with our cars, we have practices where we don't change very much, and the car just goes to crap, and it's not really drivable. It's way off the pace, and you change something small, and you're right back there. So. I'm very shocked though that they have not been able to get that turned around by now. When I left there last year, I really thought in the first 3 or 4 races that they would hit on something that would make their cars faster, but they just it really hasn't gotten any better for them. And I know that's Matt Kintz is one of my best friends, and I know that's very frustrating for all those guys. And Matt and I's relationship is. I don't know that we ever talk about racing. We did talk about the conference room meeting that they had this week. That was a good story. But other than that, I mean, we talk about just general life. But I think he's as frustrated as anybody because those guys are really talented race car drivers, and they've had a lot of success over there. And I know it seems like they just can't find what they need to get the speed out of those cars.